Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is Michigan Bureau of Services for Blind Persons. Hurry back and join us.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation.
You're resigning.
Why? You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
Oh, I forgot. I'll do better. Please don't quit on me.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is Michigan Bureau of Services for Blind Persons. And we have with us today the director himself, William Robinson, and East Region Manager, Gwendolyn McNeil. Good morning, you two.
Good morning, Marcia.
Glad to have you both here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, good. Now, I know it's Bill or it's Will. May I call you Bill?
Yes, please call me Bill.
Okay. So first off, I want to start off with you guys telling us a little bit about yourself. And if, Bill, you don't mind, we want to start with you.
Great. Yeah, I started out in business, and I never thought I would be in this position. But what happened was in 2001, I was shot in a hunting accident. And I was shot in the abdomen, the chest, and also in both eyes. So I have a unique perspective in that I went through a blindness period, a period of low vision, and then some functional vision out of my right eye now that actually allows me to drive. Since October of 2016, I joined the Bureau of Services for Blind Persons, and I've been working with my great managers like Gwen.
Okay, wonderful. Now, Gwen, I know that you are, and can I call you Gwen?
Please.
Okay. So your position as a manager, and it says East Region. What's the East Region?
The East Region encompasses Wayne, Oakland, Macomb, and Monroe County. We are a statewide agency, but I have the most populated and most densely populated area.
Okay, so give us some insight on yourself.
Okay, I've got a bachelor's degree from Michigan State University. I have a master's degree from Wayne State University in Learning Disabilities, and I'm a graduate of a leadership program in RLI that's from George Washington University, as well as the University of San Diego.
Okay. So being the region director, you get a chance to go from location to location to see how your staff is interacting with persons with low vision and visually impaired.
Absolutely. I'm covering the regions. It gives me an opportunity to interact with some of our community partners, such as Community Mental Health, Michigan Works, and some of the others that, since we can't do this work just by ourselves, so building those kind of relationships so that we can provide the best possible services to our clientele.
Okay, all right. Now, either one of you can ask this question, but when a person comes to your offices and say they need some help of some sort, most people want to venture into careers. Give us an idea of if a person came to the office and they said, I want to get a job.
Yeah, I think it starts out with a conversation, and that conversation would include goals for the client, things like what are their particular issues in terms of vision, what challenges they face, and ultimately just kind of getting a feel for some of the things they like to do as well so that we can build a complete plan for them. Gwen, do you want to add anything?
Okay, we get referrals in a lot of different ways. So initially, sometimes we'll get people who really don't drive, so we do come to the home, because that first conversation sometimes can be the most painful when it's an acknowledgement, I need help, and I'm going through a whole lot of stress, a lot of sorrow, a lot of angst. And that gives the counselor the opportunity to work with that person to develop a rapport, to kind of have that conversation that we're here, we're working together, and things can be better with our assistance and your perseverance.
Okay.
I think for me personally, just to build off of that, it was very difficult for me when I lost my vision because as you go through a grieving process to begin with. And then after that grieving process, you have a lot of loss of self-confidence. And I think one of the great things about coming in an office and talking to a counselor is that you start to build back that confidence and you learn there are opportunities, there is hope.
Okay, okay. So, namely, most persons with vision impairments need accessibility, okay, and they may have mainly transportation issues. How do you address that?
The transportation issues, I wish that Michigan were better in terms of transit. I don't think that we have a lock on a best way to handle that.
Okay.
We will assist a person if they're going through our training programs in terms of the transportation they need to be successful in completing those programs. But one of the things that we do teach is orientation and mobility, which is actually a master's degree program for the instructor that does it, so that a person knows how to travel independently and safely, to be able to ask for assistance, to be able to know landmarks, to be able to utilize public transportation, Uber, anything that it takes to get them where they need to go. But most importantly, to do it independently.
Okay, and you said Uber. Okay, okay. Uber, okay.
If that's what it takes.
That's what it takes. Okay, now, you know what, now a lot of people may be concerned that if they have young children that's starting off their lives with visual impairment, how do you guys interact, or what relations do you have with the Board of Education or the school system for young persons with vision impairment?
Yeah, the intermediate school districts all know about our youth low vision program. And that is a program where we'll help assist a client or a child from birth all the way to age 26 with a head-borne device. And that's one way that we would assist a child. And then when they start to get into their teen years, in age 14 to age 26, and they're in high school, we help them transition from high school to college or to a vocation.
That's wonderful, wonderful. I'm sure after today's show, a lot of the parents who are kind of wondering what type of career or education they can have their children be involved in as they grow. And when you have small kids and you have a child with a disability, you got a lot of things going on in your mind, like what do I do next, or you're trying to envision your children as they grow. And agencies such as you all are one of the catalysts that will help that parent. Okay, so after today, I'm sure it'll take some of the sting out of the search for where my kid's going to go to school or what, you know.
But you know, that's part of the beauty, the fact that we do start adult service provision at age 14. We know that a child comes in with, I want to be Marsha Florence, but maybe there's a whole wide world of broadcasting. Starting at age 14, we can do some assessments, we can do some job shadows, we can even get them, and particularly in Detroit, we've been able to do paid work experiences. You hit somebody, I like kids, until I'm around 27 of them. Then maybe that teaching is not going to be for me.
27, okay.
That's the classroom sizes, unfortunately, but it's very real. We give them real work experiences. And with us being able to work with them from age 14 until they're ready to exit school, be it from graduation to exiting out with a certificate, we'll have that opportunity to work with them, to help them with their independent skills, to help them with confidence and those kinds of things. We'll be doing community-based assessments, we'll be doing career counseling, all the way through. As that student matures, we'll be there.
Okay. So should a parent contact the agency, the Bureau itself, to find out, okay, can I get my child involved, or how would one go about getting in contact with you guys?
Well, a lot of our partners, like Michigan Department of Education Low Incidence Outreach, they're working with certified teachers, what we call teachers that are certified for visually impaired students, and they're working with those TCVIs and with our counselors on their children's what they call an IEP, or Individualized Education Plan. So they're already somewhat engaged with our counselors, but the best way is to get a referral from the school into the agency, and we'll pick it up from there. We'd love to work with them.
But we
great.
we know that some parents may not hear about us if they're in charters in some of the other schools. So a parent can absolutely pick up the phone and call us.
Right.
And so what would that magic number be, Gwen?
1-800-292-4200. And I'm giving you the 1-800 number because we are a statewide agency.
Okay, and what's that number again?
1-800-292-4200.
Okay, and I know you guys have a website. State of Michigan has a website. Okay, what's your website?
www.michigan.gov/BSBP.
Okay. Now, if someone was to go to the website, would they be able to come up with some of the information like
A lot of things are on the website.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, the website has the Youth Low Vision Transition Services, which covers the teens to age 26. It has a vocational rehabilitation section for people that are older that would like to work. It has independent living area for people that may not want to work but want to learn independent living skills to get around in the community in their home, to learn how to cook, for example. People say, hey, blind people can't cook. That's not true. I mean, blind people are cooking every day. They're using knives, microwaves, refrigerators, mixing bowls. They're making all our favorite
And they're
foods.
driving.
And
Yes,
they're-
some do.
Some do.
Some do.
Yes.
Some do.
Some do. You know, a lot
Yes.
of people do have a lot of myths about people, you know, with
Absolutely.
disabilities and
Right.
variations. And it doesn't matter what the disability is. They already got the myth already out.
Right.
And then, you know, you have to know someone to break the chain, to stop the myth from being spread
Yes.
on. And, well, that's what I was taught or that's what I was told, you know. So, and you guys just gave us a lot of good information. I'm sure that the viewers will be contacting us. So with that note, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Did you see anyone's raffles? Thanks for helping us. No problem.
You're welcome.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
And welcome back to the show. Now, if you're just not joining us, ladies and gentlemen, you know how I am. I always got to tell you something good. So today we are speaking with Gwen McNeil, who is the East Region Manager, and the director himself, Bill Robinson of the Michigan Bureau of Services for Blind Persons. Okay, so if I got it messed up, don't hit me. But I want to tell you, today is one of those shows, ladies and gentlemen, when you're paying attention to this, you know someone who has a disability. If it's someone in your family, if it's the next door neighbor, and you always had questions about them. So Just Ask is designed to help you get through some of those issues that you think you have in relations to working with a person with a disability, if it's a family member, services for a person with disability, any of those things. So just think in terms of today, when you're relating to a person who has visual impairment, there's a lot of services and available equipment and accessible devices that they can use. And if you have questions, Gwen's going to give that number again, or you can always go to us, 1-800-323-5336, Twitter, hashtag Just Ask Talk Show, all at the bottom of the screen. Okay, now, Bill, I heard you say something about seniors, and we left off with that before we took the break. So tell us something about the senior services.
Thanks, Marcia. Seniors in our older blind program is really helping independent living skills for those individuals. So those individuals typically have issues that onset at aging, such as macular degeneration. They could have a stroke that impacts the optic nerve. There's a number of things that could happen at that age. And as they lose their vision, they feel loss. but we have the ability to teach them how to cook meals, how to get around, how to be safe in their home, for instance. And we just had a great program, by the way, in Detroit called a mini adjustment. And I was sitting in an instruction which was called the Finer Diner. And individuals were learning how to use their hands to find plates and utensils without knocking things over. It's really great. It's a great program for seniors as well as other blind and low vision clients.
That's great. That's great. Now, you know what? We never talk about employment for persons with low vision or vision impaired. So tell me something about persons who want to be employed.
Okay, if somebody decides that they want to be employed, we do an assessment. We do some internal assessments. Sometimes we may do some contracting to determine what comes up in what family of employment do you want to do. Because fortunately, technology has been so leveling in terms of the playing field for employment. So I would almost never tell you that there's something a blind person couldn't do. So with that being said, we do a lot of instruction in technology, so that person really knows how to use those devices in an employment setting. Once they determine what they want to do, then we do assist in providing the career training that they need. We try to put in some time where they get some on-the-job work experience in their majors or their designated employee goals. And at the end of that time, we will assist them in employment.
Now, what kind of relationships do you have with employers, though? A lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about working with persons with disabilities. And I'm going to tell you for sure, persons who have low vision. So what type of working relationship do you have with employers?
Well, for example, I just came out to Detroit. We did a business roundtable. And there were many businesses from the Detroit area, including GM, for instance, that's looking to employ more people with disabilities, including blindness. Enterprise Rental Car, also the same. Comerica Bank, for instance, was there, and they were looking to reach out to us and help put some blind, disabled people as well into a position of call centers or other operation centers. And we worked with our partners at Michigan Rehabilitation Services at that roundtable too as well.
Okay. Now, I do know that lately, and not just lately, but it's been a long time, there are snack bars and like little store setups inside the state building.
Well, that's state and federal buildings. Under the Randolph-Shepard Act and Public Act 260, those particular facilities actually are a career choice for persons who are blind. It allows them the possibility of being their own boss, entrepreneurial, to rise up the ladder based on seniority, to have a good career, be able to support a family, and to have a retirement.
Wow, yeah, that's really nice.
And that's a good segue to talk about how do we train people for both the vending as well as for employment. And we do have a training center in Kalamazoo, and we have 10-week sessions, and individuals can go through that 10-week session, and if they feel like they need some additional skills, they can go for another session as well. But for instance, if there's somebody that's looking for employment and they're able to travel to the training center, it's a great way to learn a lot of skills in a short period of time and to be prepared for employment in a fairly short period.
Okay. Now, would you advise that for anyone that's freshly coming out of college or something, to say I need a job or, transition
Well,
from...
ideally, they've already gone, because that's really your first core. And it's not just, if they can't make it to our training center in Kalamazoo, we do have an auxiliary site at Detroit Receiving Hospital in Detroit. That's a day program. But that being said, that gives them the basis of being what we call skills of blindness, being independent in their mobility, their technology, their personal care and grooming, all of those things that they need in order to begin that path to college and to the next step in their lives.
Okay. Now, you guys have a wonderful library, so tell us a little bit about the library.
Yeah, the Braille and Talking Book Library is located in Lansing, and it's in the same building with the Library, Department of Education, and the museum, the State Museum. And the Braille Talking Book Library serves a number of consumers, including those that have visual impairment, as well as those who may not be able to hold a book because of a stroke, for instance. And they send out digital cartridges, so you can have a number of books on one cartridge and listen to them. They can customize that for you. In fact, they're very innovative. If you don't mind, I've got a little app here.
Well, go ahead, Mill, and demonstrate something for us.
I'll pull this up. And being from North Carolina, I'll do one here. We did an app so that our readers could understand how to read and pronounce names unique to Michigan. And so in North Carolina, we pronounce Charlotte as Charlotte. Well, let's see what we say in Michigan. So I'll go to the app and I'll touch on the Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Oh, it's Charlotte here in
Charlotte.
Michigan. How about that? Yeah, so now I know how to say Charlotte.
Okay, is that where that accent come from, North Carolina? I didn't know that. Okay, so there's apps on the phone that can assist a person as well when they're trying to do location or understand terminology that may be hard to read.
Yes.
There's all kinds of apps that people are beginning to use now. I think my staff have become the Apple kings and queens in terms of accessibility. The fact that people realize that universal design, when you do something like the Apple, the iPads and things, are good for everybody, has made life so much easier, employment so much easier with persons with visual impairments.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And you know what, with all the new technology, it's almost like you can't escape using something that will help a person regardless to the various types of disabilities, you know. So at one point when they started making devices that talk, so that those who have speech impairments were unable to speak at all, they could type in something and the voice activation would come up.
Right.
Okay, so that's a good one.
Yes. And we do work a lot with the iPhone as well as other phones too, but the iPhone is really unique in that it's already accessible. There's a lot of apps that are accessible. And I want to mention too, we do have a deafblind division in our Lansing office for state deafblind issues. Yeah.
Well, hold that thought right there, Bill, and when we come back, we're going to go right into that. We'll be right back.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Do you know what this is? This is a life-saving tool, a gun safety lock. Over the years, I have reported stories on many accidental shootings simply because a gun was not properly locked. Invest in a gun lock. Support Project Child Safe and get a free gun lock from your local police departments. Let's protect our children and community. Let's invest in safety.
If human achievement can be determined not by speed or strength, but by character, then it's easy to see who the most amazing athletes really are. Be a fan of dignity, acceptance, and the human race. Volunteer, coach, or compete in Special Olympics. Special Olympics. Be a fan.
Movement. Along with weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home just in case. Why would you do that?
Probably okay isn't okay. Call a cab, a car, or a friend.
Good choice.
And welcome back to the last half of the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I had to give you something to see. And what Bill has provided me with is a Braille and Talking Book Library calendar. So those of you who may have some low vision issues that want to have a calendar where you can see the dates and things like that, this is really nice. It comes in large print, okay? And some very informative information is on here in reference to the agency itself, okay, and phone numbers. So if you don't see it, make sure it's on the web, okay? So getting back, Bill, we stopped off at the deaf-blind services. Okay,
Yes.
tell us a little bit about the deaf-blind services.
Well, for instance, Leah Williams, who works in that area for us, she'll get a client referral, say from Gwen's office, that may be a person that has both blindness and deafness. And so that's a special, unique case because you're dealing with two sensory deprivations. So you have to work with that individual a little bit differently. And we've sent people to the Helen Keller Institute. So just because we don't have the services here, say for a specialized program, we're willing to send that person to a more special program like Helen Keller if we need to. So.
That's good.
But we do have that resource here. Leah's very talented.
And some have come to our training center
yep,
too.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. And I would hope that, you know, in this show itself that, like I said, parents or young people who say, hey, I want to go to school and this is what I want to do, you know, they will reach out and go ahead and give us that number again.
1-800-292-4200.
Okay, and the website?
www.michigan.gov/BSBP.
Okay, all right, so some way, somehow, they're either going to contact you guys or they'll contact me. All right, so now my whole concern really is like employment issues. I mean, I always have concern about that because a lot of people, if they don't have a person in their family that has a disability of any kind, it kind of like wears on them, like, I'm not sure if I can do this. Do you guys have a way that you can work with employers that kind of, you know, fills them in that the person who has the disability, they're safe, they can do the job, given an opportunity? And some people only really, and I shouldn't say only, but some people hire based on the tax credit and things of that nature.
Sure. Well, that's a great question. And recently, and I'll let Gwen expound on this, Gwen came to Lansing and we met with an employer and we talked about how we could both work together to be more of a consultant to them to understand what the accommodations were, as well as work together to provide accommodations. Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. We are one of the best kept secrets, I have to say, in the sense that we can be a resource to an employer, particularly as we're aging. I think you're going to see more and more people with visual impairments leading towards blindness. And we want to tell the employer that you don't have to let that person go. If you've got a valued employee, we're here right now. We can provide those services to help that person remain independent and to remain the good employee that you had. So, but having said that, and you talked about the fact that we do training, we also have qualified persons who are blind who would be good employees. And we'd like in business to take that into consideration. So we can provide good employees, we can help keep good employees.
Okay, well, I tell you what, both of you guys have did a wonderful job today. Will you come back and see us again?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I hate to cut it short because I'm going to have them come back and join us again. So if you have a question for Gwen or Bill, you know the number, and if you don't, go to our website and their information will be there. I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask, and what do I always say? If you have a question about a person with a disability or if you just have a general question, don't be afraid to ask, just ask. I'm your host. Thank you.